everywhere, GBS.
A very good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. My name is Stephen George and our sign language interpreter tonight is Alan Kiama. To our first story, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has announced that at least 42 people lost their lives and nearly 1,500 individuals were arrested during the nationwide protest held on the 25th of June and Sabasaba Day that was on the 7th of July 2025. Initially sparked by public dissent over government policies, the demonstrations quickly escalated into widespread unrest. Murkomen described the violence as raw and unprecedented terror, citing attacks on police stations, theft of firearms, looting of businesses, and arson targeting public infrastructure. He said those arrested face serious charges including terrorism, murder, robbery with violence, sexual assault, and malicious damage to property. The Interior Cabinet Secretary also confirmed that some police officers are under investigation for alleged excessive force, with at least one officer already charged with murder. The government has vowed to pursue all individuals believed to have organized, financed, or participated in the chaos amid growing national and international concern over the scale of the violence and response.
Excuse a police officer that if you are not in uniform, you can commit crimes, or you can kill people. The same law that upholds killing of citizens by a police officer in uniform is the same law that also upholds the same from a police officer who is not in uniform. There are clearly indicated situations where a police officer may not be required to be in uniform. And sometimes when they're doing investigations. And some investigation officers are always embedded in these situations to make sure that they collect evidence immediately that will help in apprehending criminals. Police officers also, whether they're using a Subaru or walking on foot or using a lorry, are expected also to abide by the law. And that's why we say that any claims that there is a police officer who is killing people, whether it's in civilian or not, must be investigated, and we must ensure that those who have been affected by their actions are brought to justice. So there is no excuse. The dress code of a police officer is not an excuse. In fact, a police officer who sleeps in his house and there is an emergency and he needs to rescue a citizen does not need to wear a uniform. Just wake up and go and rescue, and then do what you need to do as a police officer. Then the rest is, the uniform is just for identification, when you need identification. So the point I want to make here is that all cases of excesses reported will be investigated equally. Number two is to say that there is no non-police squad that is involved in killing people, at least not in this administration, and not that the cabinet secretary is aware of. It would be unconstitutional and illegal to establish a squad anywhere in Kenya to kill people. All the squads, all the police formations and units in the republic are intended to protect people, not to kill people. Their responsibility is to protect the citizens of Kenya.
Moving on swiftly, Kenya's opposition has once again turned its focus to President William Ruto's leadership, moving into sections, one in Kajiado and the other in Kiambu. Kenya's official vibrant opposition stood firm with its rallying call on Ruto Must Go slogan, which received a warm welcome in the Kiambu and Kajiado counties, pointing out the killings that have occurred under Ruto's administration, as Davis Karani reports.
Harambe! Harambe! Aende asiende! Aende asiende! Aende asiende! Wacha niona watu wa Kajiado wanasema aende, 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 aende. Walisema hatutafika Kajiado. Hapa ni wapi? Walisema hatutafika Kajiado. Hapa ni wapi? Aende asiende! Aende asiende!
They have vowed to embrace the fight and keep on clearing their journey to the house at the Hill, Camp 2027, with a determined heart.
Na wewe tangu uingie 2023 tukifanya maandamano uliwa vijana 75. 2024 umewa Gen Z 61. Mwezi mmoja peke yake June na Julai amewa vijana zaidi ya 61. Aende asiende jamani. Tumekisema one term ni sababu if one term damu inamwagika namna hii, unaweza kubali Ruto apewe the second term? Kama term moja amewa vijana wengi namna hii, mnakubali miaka 10 ya damu? Ndio sababu tumesema Ruto ni one term for bloodshed to stop in Kenya. Ruto must.
The country's opposition, which seems to have created a new strategy of dismantling President William Ruto's administration, dividing itself into two factions, a section led by Nyandarua Senator Metu Muhia, touring Kajiado County, and another faction led by Dr. Fred Matiang'i and Kalonzo Musyoka, camping in Kiambu County, but with the same message to Kenyans.
Eti mumeamua namna gani? Eti namna gani? Nisikie tena. Hata sisi hivyo ndivyo tumeamua. Sisi tunataka kuwaomba wananchi wetu wa Kiambu, wananchi wetu wa Mount Kenya na wenzetu wote katika taifa letu la Kenya. Tusikubali hii kasumba imeanzwa na serikali hivi majuzi ya kwanza kusingizia kabila moja ama familia ama jamii moja ya Kenya. Kusema ikishida tuko nayo imeletwa na watu wa Central Province. Unakubaliana na hayo?
The conversation comes in amid the rising and increasing contribution by leaders about a shoot to kill and a shoot to the leg order, which was issued by President William Ruto and his allies 1 week ago.
Kwanza niliona ati wanasema ati sasa hawatangojea 2027 ati tupige kura. Ati wanataka kupanga fujo. Ati wapange maandamano. Ati wachome mali ya watu. Ati walete maafa Kenya. Ati ndio wapindue serikali ya Kenya kabla ya 2027. Mimi nataka niwaambie wajaribu. Watajua hawajui. Kenya ni nchi ya demokrasia. Hamuwezi kutuambia ya kwamba mnaweza kupanga fujo ati mpindue serikali ya Kenya. Hii fujo yote wananiletea. Mbona hawakuletea Kibaki? Mbona hawakuletea Uhuru? Mimi nimenyamaza, mimi nimewavumilia, lakini mahali imefika. Enough is enough. I want to say that you can call me whatever names you want to call me, but I will make sure that there is peace and stability in Kenya. Na wao viongozi wao, we are coming after you. You cannot sponsor violence in the Republic of Kenya and expect to go scot-free. Mtu ambaye anachukua moto, anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu. Anaenda kuchoma mali ya watu wengine. Mtu kama huyo apigwe risasi miguu, aende hospitali, akienda kotini.
The country's opposition has decided to take the bull by its horn while turning its gun to the words of President William Ruto's recent public pronouncements as political tensions keep rising high every day.
Wewe Kasongo wewe. Wewe Kasongo wewe. Aende asiende. Wewe Kasongo wewe. Nataka nikwambie wewe Kasongo. Sisi tunakuheshimu lakini hatukuogopi. Na tunakuambia na tumekuambia siku nyingi. Wacha kushinda ukitisha watu ukituambia ati enough is enough. Watu ya Kenya umewafinya na wamelia siku nyingi kukuliko. Wacha kuongea na hasira ati kwa sababu umekasirika. Sisi tukasirisha zamani. Wakati unaoa watoto wetu sisi tunakasirika. Wakati unaongeza bei ya maisha sisi tunakasirika. Wacha kushinda ukituambia ati tutakuona. Sisi wenyewe tumeshakupangia wewe Kasongo. Ni vile huna habari. Sisi tumeshakupangia wewe Kasongo. Ni vile huna habari wewe. Wewe Kasongo tumekupangia. Ni vile unajifanya mwerevu wewe.
But still the decision on who will cling to the house at the Hill Camp 2027 remains on Kenyans to decide. And on this, time will tell. Davis Karani for GBS News, Nairobi.
President William Ruto has assured Kenyans on his commitment to ensure that he transforms the country's economy. Speaking today at State House, Nairobi, during the launch of the Affordable Housing Internship Program, Ruto reiterated that the transformative agenda of Kenya must no longer be delayed. Here is more on the State House in Nairobi.
I know here we have architects, we have quantity surveyors, we have engineers.
We are not just creating job opportunities by the affordable housing project, but we are also changing people's lives through decent house ownership. These are the words of President William Ruto today as he presided over the launch of the Affordable Housing Internship Program at State House in Nairobi today.
Apart from creating opportunities for work, we are making real impact on people. We are transforming lives of people. We are changing the destiny of many citizens. People who never imagined that they would one day own a house. That owning a house is a present reality.
Through the initiative, the government aims to bring on board more than 4,000 graduate professionals from technical colleges and universities into the affordable housing program. President Ruto added that the government plans to double the number of people working in the program from 320,000 to 600,000, as well as doubling the consulting firms.
We need to double the numbers. Today we have close to 320,000 people working in the housing program. We need to double those numbers by creating another shift so that, as was said by one of the good people here, we will have 6 to 1 and 1 to 6, so that we can carry on board the many professionals that are coming out of our TVETs and our universities. We have many plumbers coming out. We have many carpenters. We have many electricians, many other people in between, the people who are in that space. And yet we also have a lot of young people out there yearning for something to do. So again, my instructions to the ministry, working in collaboration with yourselves, and to now reorganize the space so that we can scale up the number of people working in our housing program from 320 to 600,000. That we can do in the next 2 to 3 months.
The president reassured Kenyans of his unwavering commitment to ensure that he transforms the economy of Kenya, which he says is the sixth largest in Africa due to his austerity measures.
My commitment to the transformation of this country is not reversible. Nothing is going to stop me from driving the transformation that is going to change Kenya and take us where we have always wanted to go.
Housing Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome echoed the same, saying the housing project is unstoppable.
Where we are, Your Excellency, this is a baby who is running. It's not a baby who is crawling. This is a baby on the track running, and we must reach the end goal. We must touch the end of the rope.
While the Affordable Housing Project Board Chair, Jeremiah Ndambuki, has urged Kenyans to give credit to its due.
It's amazing just how much can be done when it doesn't matter who gets the credit for doing the work. And it's important, and it's very important when you're executing a project of such national importance that it's about getting the work done.
On his side, architect Julius Kipngetich, who is a consultant in the housing project program, has called for the sustainability of the project.
This is not going to be a one-off thing. Once you train all these people within this sector, we are looking at sustainability. There's a lot that will happen. Their realtors will come later. There is maintenance that will happen in these buildings. And all these will come out of the training that is going on now. The plumbers that will train in the program, they're the ones that will be maintaining these buildings. So for the long term, it is also about sustainability in employment.
Victor Jung, GBS News at 9.
Kenya has been selected as one of the 9 early adopter countries to introduce a groundbreaking injectable HIV drug, Lenacapavir, also known as LEN, following the recent World Health Organization approval and new guidelines. This represents a major advancement in HIV and AIDS prevention and is expected to be a pivotal tool in achieving the goal of ending HIV transmission by 2030, Susan Nganga reports.
Kenya has joined 8 other countries in a major breakthrough in the global fight against HIV. The country has been selected as one of the early adopters of a new injectable HIV prevention drug, Lenacapavir, recently approved by the World Health Organization. This is not just any other medication. Lenacapavir, also known as LEN, is a long-acting injectable drug taken twice an year. It is designed for PrEP, meaning it helps prevent HIV infection before it happens. Unlike the daily pills many people currently rely on, Lenacapavir offers a distinct and much simpler alternative, especially for those who struggle with daily medication routines or face stigma for taking HIV prevention drugs.
This new innovation ensures that once you get the jab, you are protected for 6 months, and you go after 6 months for the next jab. So it's a new arsenal in terms of our prevention strategy, more so knowing that we have achieved what we call epidemic control, but we still have these emerging infections, which is mainly in our young population. So this is a great innovation coming forward, and we are glad as a country that we are one of the first adopters.
Clinical trials have shown promising results, with the drug proving to be highly effective in preventing HIV, particularly among at-risk populations. Kenya's Ministry of Health, through the National AIDS and STI Control Program, plans to roll out the drug by January 2026. The goal is to expand access, boost adherence, and move closer to ending HIV transmission by 2030.
And the reason as to why we are going to do this in January is because we have to change our existing guidelines. We have to train the healthcare workers. We have to put the logistics in place of how to get the medicines, how we are going to store it, and a raft of other measures that we need to put in place to ensure that it's successfully deployed. Otherwise, if those scenarios were in place, we would have been glad to deploy as soon as today. But January is not too late, so I think it's a welcome measure, and it's a real big game changer in terms of HIV prevention going forward.
Health officials say Lenacapavir could ease the burden on clinics and patients alike, with fewer appointments, more privacy, and a higher chance of sticking with treatment. Susan Nganga, GBS News, Nairobi.
Kenyan motorists should brace for higher fuel prices after the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, signaled an impending hike in pump prices. EPRA Director General Daniel Kipto has alluded to an increase in fuel cost, attributing it to a surge in global crude oil prices. The monthly price adjustments factors in global oil price movement, exchange rate fluctuations, and other market dynamics. Now, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority has announced an increase in prices for super petrol, diesel, and kerosene. Super petrol has gone up by 8 shillings 99 cents. Diesel has gone up by 8 shillings 67 cents, and kerosene prices has gone up as well by 9 shillings 65 cents per litre in the latest EPRA review. The new prices from the 15th of July through August the 14th will see a litre of super petrol go for 186 shillings and 31 cents in Nairobi, while diesel will sell at 171.58. Meanwhile, kerosene will cost 156 shillings and 58 cents a litre in the capital. In Mombasa, the cost is expected to rise to 183.02, 168 and 153.29 for super petrol, diesel and kerosene respectively. At the same time, customers in Kisumu will buy a liter of super petrol at 186.15, diesel at 171.78 and kerosene at 156 shillings. In Siaya County, a quiet agricultural revolution is taking root. After years of maize dominance, farmers are rediscovering the value of millet and sorghum, crops long forgotten but now making a powerful comeback with support from Kenya Breweries Limited and the Cereal Growers Associations. Now, villagers in Dere are now tapping into the economic and health benefits of these resilient grains. Our reporter Paul Maina has more from Siaya County, where multiple departments of research are in collusion to reduce fatalities associated with snake bites.
In Dere village, Siaya County, a retired teacher, Wilson Alunda Nyaoro, is among growing numbers of farmers who have switched from maize to millet farming, an old tradition now revived with a new purpose. After years of minimal returns from other crops, Nyaoro is banking on the promise of millet thanks to support from Kenya Breweries Limited and the Cereal Growers Association. Mary Akinyi Odhiambo.
My name is Wilson Alunda Nyaoro. I'm a retired teacher, retired in 2019. I decided to do farming. Fortunately enough, I joined a group for growing sorghum. So this is my first project in sorghum production. I'm going to double my my work because it is just it is not a burden. I'm expecting profit because, as you can see, if I compare this one with the maize which I used to plant, this one is better.
Mary Akinyi Odhiambo, another farmer in the area, says millet is now more than just a crop.
Mimi ni mkulima wa mtama. Naitwa Mary Akinyi Odhiambo. Nakaa hapa Ndere. Mtama ni mzuri kwa sababu ukipanda hata njaa hakuna kwa nyumba. Hii ni mzuri ya kienyeji, natoka ndogo ndogo. Na tulikuwa tunapanda tu ile tunaweka mtaro. Na sasa tumeshafundishwa vile tunapanda. Wakati ile tulikuwa tunapiga mtaro inaenda raka na unamwaga tu. Unaona ni haraka na hakuna kitu unapata hapo vizuri. Saa hii tumefundishwa.
Local leadership has also welcomed the change. Tom Arua believes the crop has transformed livelihoods.
I am Tom Arua, a Senior Assistant Chief of Nyabeda Sublocation. First and foremost, may I commend the Kenya Breweries Limited for bringing this field day and also for bringing good varieties of seeds in this area for planting of sorghum. This one will go in a long way in being an income generating activity, which will help very many residents of this area. And also, as far as there will be a ready market, I know money will be in their pockets. So issues of insecurity here and there will be minimal.
James Oduori of the Cereal Growers Association urges farmers to take millet seriously for both commercial and household benefits.
Jina langu naitwa James Oduori, nafanya kazi na shirika la Cereal Growers Association. So katika swala zima la mmea wa mtama tunapata kwamba mmea wa mtama ni mmea ambao unazingatiwa haswa na wakulima wengi, maana katika kuuzalisha hauna changamoto nyingi sana. Kwa hivyo wakulima wa Siaya County tunahimiza kwamba waweze kupanda mtama, na katika wanapopanda huu mtama, sisi tutawapatia ile ambayo tunaita support katika kuweza kulinda vizuri na kuvuna, kisha wakapata kuuzia kwa breweries ambalo ni soko dhabiti.
Meanwhile, through a partnership with the Kenya Snakebite Research and Intervention Center and the Kenya Institute of Primate Research, the county's health department is working to cut down the number of fatalities caused by venomous snake bites, estimated to kill at least one person annually. According to Cecilia Wairimo Gare, a clinical research scientist at the Kenya Institute of Primate Research, the current antivenoms used in Kenya are imported from India and are formulated based on Indian snake species. She explains that the ongoing research aims to develop locally relevant antivenoms tailored to the types of snakes found in Kenya, which would significantly improve treatment outcomes and effectiveness.
My name is Cecilia Wairimo Gare. I'm a public health and clinical research scientist working with the Kenya Institute of Primate Research. This is a biomedical research institute under the Department of Public Health and Professional Standards. Thankfully, and to the Kenyan government, we have our institute has been mandated and also funded to develop a locally available antivenom. So previously, the antivenoms that we've had were coming from other countries, or were coming from other countries such as India, and they were using Indian snakes to develop these antivenoms. Now we want to focus our energy and our research on developing antivenoms that are from the Kenyan or the region's snakes. This will improve on how fast the antivenoms work, and will also mean that we will use smaller doses of antivenom to treat a snake bite as compared to previous doses that we've been using.
Dr. Charles Oduor, the coordinator for neglected tropical diseases in Siaya County, noted that the region records approximately 204 snake bites cases every year. He said the county, in collaboration with research partners, is currently mapping areas with high population of venomous snakes. This effort, he emphasized, is aimed at enabling faster and more targeted responses to snake bite incidents.
I'm Charles Oduor. I coordinate the neglected tropical diseases. So what we are trying to do, we are just trying to map out snakes that are in Siaya Center, so that we are able to know where they are concentrated most, where snakes are concentrated most, and why. You find that in Siaya County, we have cases of snake bites, and if you go to Kenya Health Information System, we have like 2 or 4 snake bites per year on average, and per month around 17 snake bites on average. So this shows that actually this is a problem that we need to deal with.
Community health worker Roslyn Ochieng welcomed the initiative, emphasizing that increased awareness and sensitization at the grassroots level will play a crucial role in reducing snake bite-related deaths. She expressed strong support for the program, saying the community is ready to embrace efforts that improve both prevention and response.
Majina anaitwa Roslyn Ochieng. Mimi ni CHP kutoka Anyiko Sublocation, Anyiko CU, Oganga Village, Masasia Dispensary. Na hata nimeshukuru kwa sababu wengi sasa wamejua kama mtu akiumwa na nyoka lazima akimbie hospitali, kwa sababu zingine sasa wanazimia tu nyumbani na sasa haifiki kwa hospitali. Sasa hakuna venye serikali atajua hii nyoka pia inauma watu kwa kijiji. Nilikuwa naomba kama mnaweza kututengenezea kama ni training ya hii snake bite, tunaweza shukuru kama CHPs, ili tujue mengi, tujue venye tunaweza saidia mtu kama ameumwa na nyoka, kama bado ako nyumbani. First aid ndio tukimbie nyumbani, tukimbie hospitali.
From boosting food security with resilient grains to advancing life-saving snake bite treatments, Siaya County is proving that local solutions and partnerships can drive real change. Paul M. Minor reporting for County News, Siaya.
We are taking a short break. Keep streaming on the social media platform at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 2114. We'll be right back.
Anza wiki yako kwa njia sahihi kwa GBS Jumatatu.
Niko nawe hadi mida ya saa 4 asubuhi. Kwanza niseme asante kwa kuzidi kufuatilia na kutazama vipindi vyetu ambavyo huwa tunakuandalia hapa ndani ya GBS TV Jumatatu. People are now seeing the money that have been given to church as a bribe.
Jiunge nasi kila Jumatatu asubuhi kuanzia saa 1:30.
Nimesikia mwenzangu akifanya hesabu hapo ya vile ambavyo miungano zitakuwa. Ruto is going to fail whether with Raila or without Raila.
Kuna mahali anakosea akisema ati Raila na Ruto wataungana. Hakuna kuungana iko hapo, ndugu yangu, acha nikwambie ukweli.
Hadithi za kunoga.
Ukiangalia Wakenya, wananchi wa Kenya, pia hao maisha yao imedhulumiwa kwa kuongezwa kwa taxes, ziko very high taxes. So the statement by Rigathi Gachagua is just statement ya kumcheck that we can see you we can see between the lines.
Na mazungumzo yenye nguvu ya kukuletea utulivu kwa wiki yako.
Ati Raila ataingia UDA.
Hiyo ndoto mimi yote nasema hawezi, sababu nasema hivi mheshimiwa, ikiwa Raila
itakuwa, mimi naona itakuwa
hadi saa 4 za asubuhi kwa majadiliano ya kusisimua.
Mheshimiwa Rais William Samoei Ruto ajue ya kwamba sasa yeye ni president wa Kenya. Sio mambo ya kufanyia wana Kenya mzaha. Kupoteza biashara kwa siku moja katika CPD, nafikiria ni jambo ambalo ni rais.
Usikose, ingia kwenye GPS TV. Anza Jumatatu yako kwa kusudi.
If the government does not spend, my brother, hakuna maendeleo inaonekana, hakuna barabara zinatengenezwa, hakuna dawa kwa hospitali, my friend, economies will not grow.
Tuonane panapo majaliwa yake Mwenyezi Mungu.
GPS Jumatatu, palipo mjadala wa leo na mwelekeo wa kesho.
Yeah, because we are here to entertain and educate at the same time. So the question of the day, have you ever benefited from any youth-led initiative?
What pushed me to get into the ground one was born HIV positive, by the way. So when I was born HIV positive, I felt like the society and the youth need to be educated much on about the HIV and HIV management.
Someone was confessing and alikuwa anasema like yeye ako HIV positive, ni student, but yeye badala ya ajue venye atasaidia wengine, yana try venye atasambaza.
Unajua pia kitu kingine yenye natusumbua sisi mayouth ni kiburi. You don't want to learn, unaona?
Yeah.
Be there to learn. My youth are doing things that they are not supposed to do, kwa sababu anataka kitu yenye iko beyond yeye, iko beyond haezi afford. Unaona, manze mimi nataka kubamba wase kuchafua meza, kukuwa na dem sijui mwenye anakaje, ndio at least wase wa feel like mimi nimeweza. Manze mimi hiyo ya kuweza, acha tuweze ki mindset. Na pia uset goals. Kama una goals manze kwa hii life sijui penye, ni kama tu yani you should live with a purpose, not in purpose. Unajua most of us are living in purpose whereby yani wewe uko tu manze. Hata unataka kukatia dema na kuambia habari yako mzuri, unadoingi nini ati mimi niko tu. What is mimi niko?
Make it
everywhere. GBS.
And welcome back now. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has reassured global investors and diplomatic partners that the country remains stable, democratic and open for business. Speaking during France Bastille Day celebrations in Nairobi, Mudavadi emphasized Kenya's commitment to constitutional governance and its growing bilateral ties with France. Susan Nganga reports.
At the heart of Nairobi's diplomatic quarter, Kenya's Prime Cabinet Secretary on Foreign Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, delivered a firm message of stability and optimism to global investors and Kenya's international partners. Presiding over the 145th anniversary of France National Day, Mudavadi reaffirmed Kenya's anchoring in strong democratic institutions and a progressive constitution.
The government of Kenya remains firmly committed to upholding the constitution, the rule of law, and democratic governance. Our constitution, adopted through a national referendum with 70% public approval, affirms the will of the Kenyan people. As a stable democracy, Kenya has consistently held regular elections every 5 years since 1963, in full accordance with the constitutional provisions. The recent reconstitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IBC, further underscores our commitment to democratic governance and institutional integrity.
Despite recent civil unrest in late June and early July, Mudavadi insisted that the events have only strengthened Kenya's resolve to uphold peaceful assembly while rejecting violence in all forms.
While recent events on June 25th and July 7th presented challenges, they have strengthened our commitment to the rule of law and national progress. The government of Kenya continues to defend the constitutional right to peaceful assembly, demonstration, and picketing under Article 37, while in equal measure firmly upholding the principle that such actions must remain non-violent and unarmed.
France, meanwhile, celebrated its commitment to the partnership, highlighting more than 150 funded projects in Kenya since 2015, totaling near 1.8 billion euros in investment. Among those investments, a state-of-art science and engineering complex at the University of Nairobi, and the support of Kenya's Big Five Silicon Savannah Tech Initiative.
More recently, France has committed to the establishment of a state-of-the-art science and engineering complex at the University of Nairobi. Culturally, French remains one of the first and widely taught foreign languages in Kenya, in Kenyan schools. And
Mudavadi also held the recently signed Kenya-EU Economic Partnership Agreement as a milestone for regional trade and announced that Nairobi will host the Africa-France Summit in 2026.
Kenya and France will co-host the Africa-France Summit in Nairobi in 2026. Marking the first time that the summit has been hosted in a non-Francophone African country.
The summit is expected to spearhead new conversation around Africans' role in the global economy and deepen cooperation in sectors like infrastructure, energy, culture, and education.
The upcoming Africa-France Summit, set to take place here in Nairobi in 2026, will build on the spirit of collaboration. It aims to deepen partnership between France and its African counterparts, not through prescription, but through joint ambition. Nairobi, as a hub of innovation and regional leadership, is a fitting place to carry this vision forward.
And President Emmanuel Macron. Here, here. Viva la France, viva la Kenya. Cheers to everybody.
Cameroon's President Paul Biya has made an announcement that he will be seeking a re-election in October. At 92 years old, Biya will be the world's oldest serving head of state in his 8th term. There has been much speculation in Cameroon over his health and retirement until President Biya posted on social media on Sunday that he'll be on the ballot again.
Cameroon's President Paul Biya has now confirmed speculations that were rife in the country that will be vying again in the October 12th elections. On Sunday, the 92-year-old president made the announcement on his social media account, throwing himself again into the ring for the 8th term. In the post, President Biya gave a rider, "The best is still to come." This will make President Biya, who came to power in 1982, the world's oldest serving head of state. Members of his ruling party, the People's Democratic Party, and his supporters have been calling for him to seek another term. While the opposition and the civil society are saying enough is enough, they say his long rule has stifled economic progress. In 2008, President Biya scrapped the presidential term limit, paving the way for him to rule indefinitely. His health condition has been a subject of speculation too. Last year, he disappeared from the public view, delegating his state duties to his chief of staff.
Interesting. Gabon's political landscape has shifted dramatically since the year 2023, when military coup that ended decades of Bongo family rule. At the center of the storm is Gabonese Democratic Party, a once dominant force now grappling with deep internal divisions and a loss of influence. With its former leader, Ali Bongo, in exile and new leadership struggling to unite the ranks, the party is fighting to redefine its place in a country moving in a new direction. And with the rise of a powerful new political rival backed by a transitional president, the GDP survival is far from guaranteed.
In Gabon, the Gabonese Democratic Party GDP is facing its toughest challenge yet. Ousted from power in the 2023 military coup that ended Ali Bongo's presidency, the party is now struggling to stay relevant. Under new leader Blaise Luembe, the GDP has aligned itself with transitional president Brice Oligui Nguema, but the move has sparked controversy within party ranks. A splinter group led by Ali Akbar Onanga and backed by a letter from Bongo written before his exile claims he's the rightful party leader. The internal rift has exposed deep divisions, threatening to tear the party apart as it tries to regroup. At the same time, President Nguema has launched his own party, the Democratic Union of Builders, positioning it for dominance ahead of the general elections in September. As new political forces rise, the once powerful GDP is fighting for its very survival. Elvin Muyodi, GPS News.
World united behind the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the UN is sounding the alarm. Despite notable progress, millions of people lifted out of poverty and better access to health and education. Too many goals remain out of reach. Yesterday, the United Nations released its 10th annual SDG Progress Report, calling the global situation a development emergency.
In New York, U.S. Secretary General Antonio Guterres delivered a stark warning. Only 35% of Sustainable Development Goals targets are on track. Nearly half are progressing too slowly, and 18% have gone backward.
We are not where we need to be. Only 35% of SDG targets are on track or making moderate progress. Nearly half are moving too slowly, and 18% are going in reverse.
The report highlights major wins: declines in extreme poverty and child mortality, expanded access to education and energy, and more connected communities. But it also points to deep-rooted barriers: global inequality, climate inaction, and fragile data systems.
We are in a global development emergency. An emergency measured in the over 800 million people still living in extreme poverty, in intensifying climate impacts, and in relentless debt service, draining the resources that countries need to invest in their people. We must also recognize the deep linkages between underdevelopment and conflicts.
The UN is calling for immediate action in 6 areas: food system, clean energy, digital access, education, jobs, and climate. A key recommendation to implement the Medline framework, a global data roadmap to support smart targeted policy.
35% of the goals are on target, and some are extremely important. Extreme poverty has reduced. Child mortality and women's mortality have dramatically reduced. And the access of girls to education, and in general the access to education, has substantially increased. So if there were no sustainable development goals, many of these achievements would never have been reached.
Responding to a question about Gaza, Guterres condemned the ongoing devastation.
We all condemned the horrible, terrible attacks of Hamas. But what we are witnessing in Gaza is a level of death and destruction that has no parallel in recent times. And it is something that undermines undermines the most basic conditions of human dignity for the population of Gaza.
With just 5 years left, the UN says the world must act now or risk falling short of building a more sustainable, just future.
Well, despite all those monumental challenges, the path forward is clear. In the report, it shows that the progress is still possible if we scale up solutions and build it on hard-on gains.
Reporting for GBS News, I'm Paul Ermine.
U.S. President Donald Trump has said that NATO is doing much better following a meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark in Washington, D.C. on Monday. NATO is now becoming the opposite of obsolete because of other members of the alliance are paying their bills. This is according to the U.S. president, as Davis Karari reports.
President Donald Trump, who has repeatedly criticized NATO and expressed ambivalence about its collective defense clause, appeared to soften his stance on the military alliance. Trump stated that NATO was doing much better.
Mark is the head of NATO, Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO, highly respected by everybody that knows him, but in particular the European countries have great reliance on him, and he's done a fantastic job. And we had a tremendous meeting, I guess it's about a month ago, and I think Mark will tell you that it was really perhaps more important the date of November 5th. That was the election day. Maybe that was the most important because we made tremendous progress together.
The comments come after NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte traveled to Washington to meet with Trump on Monday, seeking to convince him on the value of backing the alliance and Ukraine.
We've spent $350 billion approximately on this war with Russia and Ukraine, and would like to see it end. It wasn't my war, it was Biden's war. It's not my war, I'm trying to get you out of it. And we want to see it end. And I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there. So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%. And that's the way it is. That can be more simple.
During the Oval Office meeting, Trump announced that NATO alliance will finance the purchase of America's Patriot missile defense system and weapons for Ukraine in his most significant move to support Kyiv.
Trying to come up with a nuclear weapon, a nuclear bomb. And we did it very successfully. And we make the best equipment, the best missiles, the best of everything. The European nations know that. And we've made a deal today, and I'm going to have Mark speak about it, but we've made a deal today where we are going to be sending them weapons and they're going to be paying for them.
Rutte also met with Trump at last month's NATO summit in The Hague, where he infamously referred to the US president as the D.
They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language to
You have to
get
use
stuff.
strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a
Donald Trump, who has over recent days indicated that he is losing patience with Vladimir Putin over Russia's increasing attacks on Ukraine and refusal to agree on a peace deal, again expressed his annoyance with the Russian president but didn't completely indicate a break.
One of the reasons that you're here today is to hear that we are very unhappy, I am, with Russia. But we'll discuss that maybe a different day. But we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means.
On Monday, Trump threatened 100% tariffs on Russia if Putin doesn't end the war with Ukraine in 50 days. Davis Karani, GBS News.
It is time for your most favorite segment of the show, the sports news. Let's get sporty. The Ministry of Interior and National Administration, in collaboration with the Ministry of Sports, Youth and Arts, has today conducted a high-level inspection of Nyayo and Kasarani Stadia to assess security preparedness ahead of the Continental Showpiece. The inspection marks a significant step in Kenya's final preparations to deliver a secure, memorable and well-organized CHAN tournament that acts as a warm-up for the AFCON 2027. The inspection, led by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen and his Youth and Sports counterpart Salim Vuria, alongside the local organizing committee, the delegation toured the two main competition venues as well as surrounding amenities to ensure everything is in place for the arrival of teams and fans in August. CS Mvuria echoed these sentiments, urging Kenyans to safeguard the sporting infrastructure put in place for CHAN. The CS Murkomen confirmed that the government has deployed adequate security apparatus not only at the stadia but also in critical support areas such as hotels, airports, and other team transit points. He lauded the biometric access gates installed at Kasarani Stadium, praising the use of modern technology, including advanced sound system, firefighting equipment, and extensive network of CCTV cameras, a setup that will be replicated at Nyayo Stadium and all training grounds, including the newly added Utalii Training Complex. CS Murkomen also confirmed that the electronic traveling authorization waiver remains in effect, allowing fans from across Africa to enter Kenya visa-free for the tournament. With only 18 days to CHAN, Kenya's Harambee Stars are counting down to their historic debut at the 2024 African Nation Championship. With heavyweights like DR Congo, Morocco, and Zambia in the group, it's a true test of character. But inside camp, belief is building, and midfielder Boniface Mushiri say they are ready to rise to the occasion. Our sports reporter Elvis Muyodi reports.
In match day 3 of the CAF Women's African Cup of Nations, Ghana's Black Queens secured their place in the quarterfinals with a 4-1 win over Tanzania. Princella opened the scoring early, but Tanzania equalized before halftime. Ghana took control in the second half with a penalty from Alice, followed by late goals from Evelyn and Chantel. Ghana finished second in the group and will now face Algeria, while Mali will meet tournament's host Morocco in the quarterfinals. In another match, South Africa, the defending champions of the Women's African Cup of Nations, played their best game of the tournaments by beating Mali 4-0. Banyana started strong with an early goal from Ramalepe and never looked back. Jane, Magaia, and Ronel added more goals to seal a big win. With these results, South Africa finished top of Group C and will now face Senegal in the quarterfinals. Mali also moved on to the...
We apologize for that technical hitch. With only 18 days to CHAN, Kenya's Harambee Stars are counting down to their historic debut at the 2024 African Nation Championship. Let's have a look.
Kenya's Harambee Stars are ready to make history at the 2024 African Nations Championship CHAN. Drawn into a tough group with DR Congo, Morocco, Angola and Zambia, many see them as underdogs, but midfielder Boniface Mushiri says the team is focused and fearless.
Nowadays, there's no underdogs when it comes to football, so we just have to believe in ourselves. For my teammates, we should demand a lot from ourselves first, because we are playing for the country, you know. So we have to make our loved ones, the Republic of Kenya, proud by giving the best performance that we can, so that we can write history and leave a legacy behind. With the preparation that we are having, I believe we can achieve anything when it comes to football matters.
Training at Kasarani is intense, the mood is sharp, and belief is growing. With the opening match against DR Congo set for August 3rd, Mushiri says the players are giving everything to deliver for the nation.
Good preparation with the good intensity for the games that are coming. So we are in a good mood, and the preparation is really good. We are doing well in the training sessions.
Before the tournament, the Stars will head to Tanzania for a warm-up tournament. But Mushiri's message is clear. Playing at home is their edge, and they need fans to show up, be loud, and help carry them to glory.
To our lovely fans, I would like to request them to come and support us, to come and fill the stadium, because we need their support. The same way they did against Gabon in Nyayo Stadium. So it was really feeling, and the atmosphere, it was electric. So hopefully we can find that atmosphere here at Kasarani when we host our first game and the rest of the matches that we'll be playing here at Kasarani. So we welcome all our fans.
Elvin Muyodi, GBS Sports.
South Africa and Ghana are through to the quarterfinals of the Women African Cup of Nations. Banyana crushed Mali 4-0, while Ghana beat Tanzania 4. Our sports reporter Klein Mungai take us through.
In match day 3 of the CAF Women's African Cup of Nations, Ghana's Black Queens secured their place in the quarterfinals with a 4-1 win over Tanzania. Princella opened the scoring early, but Tanzania equalized before halftime. Ghana took control in the second half with a penalty from Alice, followed by late goals from Evelyn and Chantel. Ghana finished second in the group and will now face Algeria, while Mali will meet tournament's host Morocco in the quarterfinals. In another match, South Africa, the defending champions of the Women's African Cup of Nations, played their best game of the tournaments by beating Mali 4-0. Banyana started strong with an early goal from Ramalepe and never looked back. Jane, Magaia, and Ronel added more goals to seal a big win. With these results, South Africa finished top of Group C and will now face Senegal in the quarterfinals. Mali also moved.
Well, we have come to the end of the news bulletin. It is always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again next time. Same channel, we make your news our business. My name is Stephen George, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Alan Kiama. Good.